Welcome to Giving Them Something to Talk About podcast. I'm your host, T. Jane, and today I'm honored to sit down with someone who I've known since 7th grade. He's someone who has dedicated his life to public service, Michigan State Representative Tyrone Carter. Tyrone has worn many hats. He spent years serving as a Wayne County Sheriff Deputy before stepping into politics. Now he's running for Detroit City Council. Yeah. And today we're going to talk about what's driving his campaign, his transition from law enforcement to politics, and how he's navigated personal challenges, including the loss of his son, Tyrone II. This is going to be an insightful and heartfelt conversation, so let's get into it. Tyrone, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, T. Jane. This is exciting for me as well.
I'm so glad to be here. You're such a dear friend. Like I said, we've known each other since Miss Talbert's class in 7th grade at Boynton. And so it's just an honor to have you. So I'm just going to get it right into the questions because I know you're extremely busy. So you've been serving in the Michigan House of Representatives for how many years now?
I'm going into my 7th year. So to kind of give you an idea, before Proposal 1 2 years ago, the most you could serve was 6 years, 3 2-year terms. But they added financial disclosure. So now you can serve 12 years total, whether that's the House or the Senate. So before, if you planned it right or you ran right, you could leave the House and go serve in the Senate if you were elected and do 14 years. Now the max is 12, which I think mirrors California, 12 years total.
Okay. Well, you've been in it for a long time. So 7 is a year of perfection. 8 is a year of new beginning. So it looks like you're going to go into a new beginning. So what inspired this transition?
So currently, going into my seventh year, my 4th term, we had the House of Representatives last year. We were majority. Mm-hmm. So with majority comes the ability to just do some amazing things. And we were able to do some things budget-wise, policy-wise, because I love going around speaking to folks about the process. In the Black community, there's a couple things we really don't talk about. We don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion, and we're both really bad at both of them because we don't talk about them. Mm-hmm. So my goal is to talk about process. So in that process, for the last 2 years, we've been majority. And I try to tell people the definition of politics is who gets what. And when you're in politics, the what is policy or taxpayer money. Those are the two things. So if you're not paying politics, you're playing it badly. We've been able to do some phenomenal things. Last term, I was the chair of Reg Reform, which is everything that's licensed in the state of Michigan, anywhere from, we call it sin tax, lottery, liquor, cannabis, casinos, funeral homes, beauticians, anything that has a license fell under my committee. So we were able to do some things to change, shorten the lengths. I know the governor sent me a shout out the other day, because I said, you shouldn't move from another state and come to Michigan and have to wait 60, 90, 120 days to get a license if you've been licensed someplace else. Mm-hmm. So the transition is this. We lost majority. We lost, the Democrats lost. We lost on messaging. We lost a lot. Mm-hmm. So we lost the House. And so you have to look at the ability to be effective. There's 110 state reps. 58 Republican, 52 Democrats. You look at the numbers, then you transition to city council where there's 9 city council people. With the elections coming up this year, we're going to have a new mayor for the first time in over a decade. And we're also going to have at least 2 new city council people. Okay. So I looked at where would I be most effective? And I could be one of 52 of 110, or I could be one of 9. And I think the numbers are in my favor to attempt to be one of 9. And so I'm kicking off my campaign Monday.
That's awesome. That's so smart. And thank you for coming in on such short notice. I didn't know you were kicking off Monday, so this is perfect. So what do you see as your biggest challenge facing Detroit right now, and how do you plan to address them?
Well, there's three issues. And we talk about the same things over and over. People talk about crime, people about taxes, people talk about, okay, fine. We haven't been able to solve that. Mm-hmm. The root causes are what we need to look at. And the root cause of poverty and just bad information is lack of education. Mm-hmm. So we put a lot of money into the city of Detroit. We funded the literacy lawsuit, which was $94 million under Snyder Literacy wasn't a right. So we were able to get that money. We went to a different formula as opposed to equitable, equal funding. We went to equitable. Equitable was based on what students had the most needs. So Detroit students, traditionally need more, but we have less of a tax base. So
Hmm.
we were able to, I think we put it up to $9,500 per student for the first time. And that was a huge increase.
Yes.
So I represent District 1, which is Ecorse, River Rouge, and Southwest Detroit. So I deal with 3 superintendents in communities with challenges. So when we talk about where we are, education is always number one.
Hmm.
Infrastructure, we saw what just happened with the pipe bursting over in
Yes. Wow.
near our old Wilson Elementary School.
Hmm.
To see those pictures outside of a hurricane, I've
Wow.
never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
when we keep talking about infrastructure, we only fix things when they break around here,
Right.
and it costs more to fix them when they break as opposed to being prevented.
Working on them. Hmm.
So we've got to look at it from that avenue and, identify the oldest ones and address that before it happens. But the biggest one that troubles me more than anything is this affordable housing.
Hmm.
First of all, separately, those are 2 subjective words. Affordable.
Hmm.
What's affordable to me may not be affordable to someone else.
Right.
So it's too broad. And then the housing. To me, housing is someplace that you own. We're not building houses. We're building shelter.
Hmm.
So when you look at generational wealth and how people pass on things, we come from Detroit, which at one point we had the largest homeowners in the world, 80, 90%.
Hmm.
We may be at 50% now. What
Wow.
can you leave on to your kids,
Can't.
your grandkids? When we talk about building wealth, that's what I'm looking at. And the
Hmm.
biggest piece of wealth that we have in the Black community is our homes, but
Hmm.
people don't have them anymore. So when folks say we're building affordable housing, be very careful of what you hear, because
Hmm.
what we're building is apartments that you will not
Hmm.
be able to leave on, to
Correct.
um, generations. So we need to reassess and evaluate how we do housing. That's just my opinion.
That's great because that is the only way to wealth is generational wealth. That's great, Tony. So, what makes you stand out from any of the other candidates?
Experience.
Mm.
We're talking about a lifetime of experience, whether it's 25 years at the sheriff's department, whether it's being a part of organizing contracts. People don't, and the people in the sheriff's department that I came in with know this. When we hired in, we were making $6.99 an hour in 1984. We were making 1/3 of what the people that were there were making.
Hmm.
And so we had to organize and
Mm.
figure out how we're going to get parity within our own department, not another department, our own department. So early on, I was like, okay, we got to figure out solutions to these issues and problems. So that took me well into my career. I was promoted a few times. I retired. It'll be 17 years in May. I've been retired 17 years. I was blessed to retire at the age of 45.
Hmm.
So with that, I say, hey, God's blessed me with, a reasonable portion of health, some money, and all my faculties. Let's go out and try to be a blessing to others. So I worked up at Southwestern High School for a minute before they closed. I've taken kids on Black college tours the last 18 years. So I've tried to do things that are going to improve the quality of life. So that's the experience and just life's experience. But I've been really effective in doing that too. Whether it's being successful at the sheriff's department, starting my own security and consulting company and hiring up to 60 people before COVID hit.
Wow.
And then even now, being able to pass laws that are going to impact and improve the quality of life, not just for the people in my neighborhood, not just for the people in my district, for the entire state of Michigan. So when we look at it, you want experience, you want somebody who's effective, but you also want proven results. And I bring all those things to the table.
Yes, you do. And so now that segues me into the community engagement, which is definitely crucial. So I've seen you out in the community in Southwest Detroit and other areas of the city of Detroit, as well as broadly through the state. How do you plan to ensure that residents are heard and represented?
You have to go where people are. So once a month, I have conversations They call them Conversations with Carter. It's corny,
Mhm.
but everybody can't get to Lansing and have that conversation. So I have it at River Rouge City Hall. They know that I'm going to be there the second or third. I'd have to look at my schedule, but
Okay.
the second or third Friday of each month, I'm going to be there. Then I'm going to be another place within the district, whether it's over near Chadsey High School, whether it's near the old Southwestern High School, just somewhere else in the community to give people access. And I give them enough time, and nothing's off the table. So you cannot like me, you can disagree with me, you can come ask me why I voted a certain way that I did. And, there's some accountability with that. I don't run from any question or any comment. So, I send out newsletters. I send out e-news. Everybody doesn't get, what we call hard copy mail. A lot of people go by email. And just if people ask me to come, if I'm available, I'll be there. What was that? 2 nights ago, the Tri-City Wolves, Ecorse Rouge in Southwest Detroit, because there's not that many kids like when we grew up,
Mhm.
where each city had their own stuff. So now they did a combination. So Rosalind Curry's son, Daryl Folks, is the president. So
Okay.
when we were having a conversation, I said, if you do that, I'll support you. He got it together. We got him some financial backing and support. And they had their little award ceremony Thursday night out in Southgate. So he said, will you come? I says, yeah, I come to those, have a conversation, because I need these young people to understand that you don't have to move away. You don't have to do all these things. I'm just like you. You just have to make better decisions and make the best of the opportunities in front of you. And we have to create those opportunities for our young people.
Absolutely. And they, it's cliche, but they are the future. But I've also seen you working with seniors. What kind of programs are you planning when you get into the council to assist them? Because
Oh,
they're the backbone.
it's scary now.
Hmm.
So when we talk about housing, I cannot tell you how many seniors I've run into that have reverse mortgages.
Mm.
How many seniors that have been, I don't want to say they've been abused by the people that are supposed to take care of them, but giving them access to their resources. They work their whole lives and they look up and they only got $3 in the bank.
Wow.
So I try to make sure that they know what resources are out there. Because let's be honest, hell, I'm a senior. I'm 62. and
Okay, don't talk about that while I'm on this. Don't nobody need to
but
know that.
right. But you look at it and you say, well, wait a minute. These things are impacting my peers, because
Hmm.
everybody doesn't have the same portion of, mercy and grace, and haven't been afforded what we have, which is,
Right.
a strong state of mind. And when you got a strong mind, folks can't mess over you.
That's for
But
true.
sometimes your mind might not be as strong as your body.
Hmm.
So I try to conduct as many, informational meetings about these are the resources. And it's good to know they're there before you need them, because, when you're in a situation, sometimes you can't think of everything you need. So I try to be
Right.
proactive on that end. Hey, get you a will, get you a trust, have all these things in place, because most Black folk don't think they have anything.
Hmm.
But you'll be surprised, having worked in a bunch of courtrooms, that what you don't think you have, a lawyer or a um, probate court personnel will
Officer.
find
Hmm.
out what you do have. So
Hmm.
eliminate them from the process. Have your will, make you a trust, and figure it out. You may think it costs a lot of money on the front end, but it doesn't.
Right. You still smart. I can see that. So politics is a tough politics is a tough game. What keeps you motivated through the ups and downs?
The people, the silent majority. I don't worry about the people that talk loud and tell me what a horrible job I'm doing, and I didn't fix this, I didn't fix that.
Hmm.
Rah, rah, rah. I know the 90%, the people that I see when I'm out and they give me a hug, or like the lady who I know doesn't have the means and is struggling, wants to give me $20 for my
Hmm.
campaign. Those are the people that keep me going.
That's awesome. So, how has your family influenced your journey in public service?
Ooh wee. Um, the beauty of having a diverse family is having diverse opinions,
Hmm.
and they stretch from let me see, real conservative to moderate to extreme. But those are the things that shape you. And growing up, not having much, makes you figure out, okay, what I got to do to get to where I want to go, and how do I maintain that? So living in this community that we grew up in, I mean, there were some phenomenal people. We just didn't know it. And as
Mm-hmm.
you get older, like on the corner of Etzel and Visiger, Miss Barnes, I didn't know that she was a nurse and she worked for Dr. Drew, who
Wow.
discovered blood plasma at McGill
What?
University. She's 100. Yes. Little things like that. Miss Moore, her husband was one of the first Montford Point Marines. I would love to write a story about 48217 because
Mm-hmm.
we probably have more doctors and lawyers. Wade McCree Sr., the judge, all of those
Mm-hmm.
people came from this community.
Wow.
And probably because of segregation, we couldn't move into other places.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a wonderful, um,
Rich history.
upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
just the people around me, I still go see Miss Taylor down the street.
Yes.
Um, just got me to understand that, again, politics determines who gets what. And for a long time, we didn't get much.
Mm-hmm.
And so the family dynamic is you want to be an example to your younger siblings as well that, hey, man, put in a little hard work and it'll work out. There's no shortcuts.
Absolutely not. And you haven't taken any shortcuts. We're so proud of you. But looking back, what's something about you that people might not know?
People might not know, I thought about that, how loyal I am. I still have
I
the same friend. Well, you know that,
know
but
that.
people don't know that. I
True.
still have the same best friends from elementary and
Mm-hmm.
high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at some, I said, man, the guys that were in my wedding, we still get together.
Uh-huh.
So those are the little things. I'm a homer. And you called it earlier when you said Tony. And we laugh about that. The people that I grew up with know me as Tony
Yeah.
in the neighborhood. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm a homer and I'm loyal.
That's awesome. Yes, you are definitely loyal. But looking back, is there a particular moment in your career that you're especially proud of?
I thought about what one thing stands out, and there's just been so many things that I can't just point to one thing and say, wow, I did that. Whether it was being the president of my police academy class, wow, I did that. Going to the FBI academy and people saying, well, I don't know nobody black that ever went to the FBI academy. I say, well, things
You.
just kind of happen through osmosis. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody asked me one day if I were to write a book, what would I title it? I said it would be titled Stumbling into Greatness, because I didn't figure this out on my own.
Yeah, but you did do it, and we're definitely so proud of you. So Tyrone, I want to kind of shift things.
Sure.
I know this is a deeply personal topic, but I also know that you've been incredibly strong in the face of an unimaginable loss. You lost your son, Tyrone II, and I can't even imagine the pain. However, I do empathize with you. How have you found the strength to keep moving forward?
Faith, man. And if I get teary eyed,
It's okay.
oh,
It's okay.
ooh-wee, faith. And, the belief that you think you can do anything, but it's God's will.
Yes.
Thought I would have it together on that
That's
question.
okay. That's okay. That's okay.
But,
It's me.
all right, like that Lions player said, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog up in here. Um, no, but the one thing it made me realize is that we take so much for granted,
Mm,
and we think we have so much time.
yes.
And it's like, whoa. So I challenge people, when I get up and speak at a funeral of somebody. I said, if you had one more day, what would you do differently?
Mm-hmm.
If you got a long list, then you're doing it wrong. Nobody should know with their last breath that you love them. So
Yes.
that's what I've learned. And Tony taught me this. He used to say goofy stuff like YOLO. What is YOLO? He say you only live once. That's why I'm spending all your money while I got a chance. And so he had a wonderful life, and he was a good kid. So I take comfort in that.
That's good. And what would you say to parents who have suffered loss that are just struggling through grief?
That there's nothing that you could have done that was going to change what happened.
Mm.
And they have to get to that point. Just hey, if faith that can't be tested can't be trusted, if it wasn't for God.
Amen. That's right.
That's
How
it.
has this experience changed you and the way you connect and serve the community?
Wow. You just never know. You never know what somebody's going through. I mean, you could be outly like, oh man, they look good, but sheesh, you never know.
That's right.
So just be kind. Words matter.
They do.
Words hurt.
Yes.
Be as kind as possible, because you could be that word that, hell, keeps somebody from going home and just saying, I'm done. Just we're not kind enough to one another anymore.
That's right. That's right.
We really aren't.
That's right. Well, one thing I know that you have always been a kind guy. Well, that's how we ended up being friends, because at the time in 7th grade, I needed kindness, so you showed it to me. And so you've always been the same. You really haven't changed much at all. So what legacy do you hope to leave, not just as a politician, but as a husband and father and a leader in the community?
Somebody that, got up every day and say, how can we make the world better? We got too many folks that get up angry every day. I get up thankful.
Amen.
And I say things like, okay, it'd be something as small as, Scott and I were talking about this the other day. He was like, man, your legacy is solid. You good. I said, I'm not at the end of the road, boss. Something as small as to show people you don't have to be in an elected a position to affect change. So I look at that from Kennedy Center was closed. I was the president of our neighborhood organization. People forget this. They had closed the rec center. Okay, I'm over that one. And the city said, we don't have money. So I'm like, okay, how can we get money? City said we're $2 million short. So I went to Marathon Petroleum and I said, hey, you all got a tax break from the city. And a guy went down all the things that they did for the city. They gave $1 million to the public safety for police, fire, and EMS. They gave $1 million to Homeland Security. They did. I said, well, what are you doing for the neighborhood kids? What are you doing for the people that are impacted every day by what you do? And he says, well, what do you want us to do? Nobody's ever approached us. The state representatives before me were adversarial to everybody out here. And you've got to learn how to have relationships if you want to get stuff done.
That's good.
So, we sat down and I said, hey, the city's $2 million short. My kids deserve a rec center. Because there's no rec center out here in Ecorse Rouge or Southwest Detroit.
No, there is not. There wasn't.
So he said, okay, we'll get with the city. And the guy said, we'll put the money in escrow because we don't trust the city's going to live up to their end of the deal.
Okay.
So when the deal came down, and the plans came through, and this is another lesson that you learn, TJ. No matter what solution you have, there are going to be people that have a problem with your solution. So we get this all together. Kennedy Center you walked through there, almost had tears in my eyes because it didn't look like that when I was a kid. We didn't have that. We didn't have a full-size gym. We had a locker room, a pool that used to work, didn't work, did work, didn't work, a little place in the back, and that was it. Now this place has a place for seniors. It has a workout area. It has a game room. It has a library. It has a computer lab. It has a meeting place for people who want to have a meeting but don't want people at your house. If you want to have a baby shower, you've got all that, a full-size room and the court. But I
Fitness
still,
center.
yes. But then I got people saying, yeah, but you didn't get us a swimming pool.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't get you a swim. The center was closed.
For
And
how
then,
many years?
yes. And then I said, well, riddle me this. You tell me how many people from this neighborhood went pro or got money from swimming as opposed to playing ball or running. And I'll
Correct.
get you a pool. How about
There
that?
you go.
So, just the ability to get up every day and say, how can we make the world better? Might not be a big thing. Could be opening the door for somebody. Could be something, hey, man, you look great today. Man, I like that outfit. Just complimenting somebody. Those are things that don't cost a lot of money, but you never know the impact.
That's right. So you're a living legend in our hearts and minds from Southwest Detroit. Listen, this has been such a powerful conversation, and Tony, I really appreciate you coming at such short notice to talk to us on giving us something to talk about, because you've given us something to talk about, not just about your campaign, but your personal journey, the struggles and the passion that keeps you going. For those who want to keep up with you, your campaign and your work, where can they find you?
They can find me on Facebook. I got to get my social game,
You
my social
do.
media game, a little tighter. I don't know if Elon Musk or whoever owns X. I've got an account. I just don't. I'm usually too busy to be sitting up posting,
Mm-hmm.
and I've gotten better at it. Of notifying people of things that are going to happen. So I'm going to get somebody, one of these young cats, maybe Tyler. Hell, his degree from Wayne State is
Oh,
in
that's
that.
what's in. Mm-hmm. Is
Hmm?
it?
Yes.
What are you doing?
He's working in politics for somebody right now,
Okay.
as a staffer, but his stuff was production. So, but it's hard to nail him down. If I can get a young person to kind of manage my accounts and figure it out, that's one of my goals moving forward. Lisa and I were talking about, strengths and weaknesses, because you're like, you go somewhere and you'll talk and you'll do this, you'll do that. I say, yeah, that's my strength, but I also know my weaknesses. So I got to, get into the weight room and muscle up on my weaknesses. And my social media game is definitely needs needs some workout.
Well, so do you have a website where they can go?
Yeah, we're going to fix that. I was supposed to get with somebody today. Today's Saturday. That's bad
Uh-huh.
when you don't know what day it is. Because my campaign kickoff is Monday. So electtyronecarter.com is the website. We just got to update it, upgrade it, and I'll let you know when we're off and running. And
Okay.
I've got to get better at telling the story. I watch these young guys have videographers and folks
Mm-hmm.
follow them around, and I don't I don't operate that way. I know people have this thing where they want to see you, they want to do, but just like with the Southwest Detroit flood, I'm not standing on a soapbox talking about, okay, what do we need to do? We know what we need to do. My job
Mm-hmm.
was to get in there and get it done.
In the
So
trenches, yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
got it done. I got folks to do it.
Yes.
And, none of that beating my chest. Look at me. And what I don't do, I don't know if you ever notice this. If I'm doing something, I'm not putting nobody's face out there, because you shouldn't do something for somebody and then put their face on what you're
Absolutely.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is generic. Hey, this is the lineup. This is what we're doing, blah, 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 blah. Because you don't want to embarrass somebody who needs something.
Correct.
But folks will be all in your face. Hey, how you feel about us giving you this turkey today?
Mm-hmm.
You don't do
Yeah.
that. You
That's
don't do
right.
that.
That's
You
right.
just give it because
Mm-hmm.
that's the right thing to do.
Correct.
So
That's great, Tony. So anyway, you have a Facebook page.
yeah,
It's Tyrone
Tyrone
Carter,
Carter.
state representative.
I've got one state representative as well. Again, I got to make that my primary. We're going to switch that over to city council. I got to
Amen.
figure out how to change the algorithms on Facebook. That's how bad I am. We'll get there.
Definitely. But we'll post everything, everybody. But Tyrone, I want to thank you again for joining me today. Wishing you all the best, praying for you. We know that you're gonna win. I just don't have no doubt. I
We're
have
we're
no
we're,
doubt.
we're going to work hard, and it is what I tell people. No matter, you might have, the old saying is, man, you had the cat in the bag, but the bag might have a hole in it. You got to make sure that you work hard so that, whether you win or lose, you know that you gave what you had. Because I've lost quite a few elections before I started winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I put those down as research and development.
That's good.
But there's never a loss if there's a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it takes a minute, but you got to find a lesson.
That's right. And I know that you did. And I know it's your time. I know it's going to happen. You're ready for it. You're poised and ready. So again, congratulations on your campaign, which is opening up Monday, everybody. And we're going to post everything. Kickoff.
You can kick it off. Maybe I'll see you down there, TJ, at the Old Tiger Stadium at PAL headquarters. We'll be there
what time is it?
From 3 to 7. It's on my Facebook page.
Which one?
The regular one.
The Tyrone Carter?
Yes.
Okay, we'll definitely post everything, and hopefully I can get down there. But to all our listeners, I want to thank you for tuning in to give them something to talk about. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, by T. Jane. And until next time, keep the conversation going. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tanya.